Welcome back to Jack of All Trades, guidance channel for young men. I know it's been a while since we made our last video. Things have been a little crazy with the coronavirus. As you can tell, I'm working from home, but we're back. I'm going to try to start speeding this up, making more videos. So I would emphasize right at the beginning, if you're subscribed or if you happen across this video and you like it, please subscribe, please share with your friends. The only way this is successful is if we get some subscribers on here, we get some views. And I think it's good content, so hopefully you feel the same. Today we're going to talk about staying calm through crisis, so it's really important, and I think right now with coronavirus and everything going on, I think it's a good topic to talk about, is that maintaining that calmness, maintaining that inner peace, and that outer calmness for people to see throughout a crisis, whatever that crisis is. So first quote here, Epictetus is, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." And that's kind of the breakdown of this whole thing is you can't control what happens to you. You can never control, something bad's going to happen to everybody and throughout life. At some point, something bad's going to happen to you. You can't control it, but you can control how you react. So we have a lot of quotes today, so I'm going to kind of try to speed through them a little bit so that the video isn't 30 minutes long here. And then I'll add some commentary as we do it. So Larry Hutchinson has a really good quote here. "Being under stress is like being stranded in a body of water. If you panic, it will cause you to flail around so that the water rushes into your lungs and creates further distress. Yet, by calmly collecting yourself and using controlled breathing, you remain afloat with ease." And I think if you take a minute to think about that, it's extremely true. So imagine you're swimming, right? If you panic, what happens? You start sucking in water. You start sinking, you lose awareness of what's going on. You're not swimming efficiently, you're not doing things right. If you just calm down and take a deep breath and pause and slow yourself down and calm down, that's normally when you can, all right, I'm okay, let me breathe, let me tread water, let me be efficient here with my movements, and that's how you're okay. In my actual job, I'm a helicopter pilot, and I've always been complimented on how calm I am during real and simulated emergencies for training. One of the first pilots I flew with, his mantra was kind of like, just stop and take a deep breath before you do anything. A lot of emergencies, especially in airplanes and helicopters, have been made worse by, something happens and somebody wants to react right away, and boom, they flip what they think is the right switch, and ends up being the wrong switch, and it makes things worse. And so he would always say, just stop, take a deep breath, pause, even if it's just 1 or 2 seconds, and think, what is this? There's very few emergencies, even in a helicopter at a low altitude, where you have to react within 2 seconds. And there are a couple, and you know what those are. But for the most part, you can stop. You can take a deep breath. And so any emergency I've had, minus 1 or 2 where, things had to happen right away. But for the most part, I was able to stop, take a couple breaths, or at least one good breath, think about what this is. What do I think this is? What does it look like? All right, now I can manage it. And that calmness not only works for me, but it translates to everyone around you. And it's really easy for me to talk about, what happens in the cockpit or in the aircraft, because that's super apparent. Is if I were to react right away and panic and start flipping switches, well, my co-pilot, my flight mechanic, the guys in the back, they're going to feed off that energy. They're going to like, oh my gosh, this is super. We have to start doing something too. They're going to panic. If they see me, take a deep breath. Okay, what do you guys think this is? Let's be nice and calm. They'll feed off my calmness, and they will then be calm. So this is a great thing to learn and a great thing for you to try to focus on. And like most of what we talk about on this channel, it takes time, right? It takes practice, and you have to be intentional. You have to focus on it. So kind of sticking with the water theme here with the last quote is, "Be like a duck, paddling and working very hard inside the water, but what everyone sees is a smiling and calm face." That's a quote by Manoj Aurora, and I think that's a great one, right? So you look at a duck on the top of the water, it's super calm, looks like nothing's happening. You look at their little feet, they're paddling away, and that's how you can be, right? You're in an emergency, or you're in a situation, you're in a crisis. It doesn't mean you ignore it. It doesn't mean you don't react to it or respond to it. You can have those wheels turning inside your head, but you need to be calm. And if you present yourself as calm, you will stay more calm. It won't just impact those around you. It'll also impact you. And so you can be calm while at the same time thinking, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle this? But in a calm manner, not in a not panicked. because when you panic, you kind of lose all common sense. Sandra Brown, I don't panic unless I have to. It wastes energy, which is 100% true. Panicking, what does it really do for you? And I think a great example of this is we've all probably done this, right? Where we have something looming in the future. Maybe it's a meeting. Maybe you have to go have a discussion with somebody that you don't like and they don't like you, somebody you don't have a good relationship with, or something that you think is going to cause some conflict. And we've all sat or like laid in bed and thought, oh man, what if this happens? What if they do this? And what if I do this and it's wrong? Or what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if they get physical? And then all of a sudden you've built up all these scenarios. Here's all these things that could happen, that might happen. And you're trying to prepare for them, and now you're stressed out. And 99% of the time, whatever you were stressed out about goes fine, and it's not nearly as bad as what you imagined. And all you've done is waste time. And all that panicking doesn't prepare you for a bad situation anyways. It kind of just prepares you to panic. So it wastes energy, and I think that's spot on. Roy T. Bennett here. Patience is not the ability to wait. Patience is to be calm no matter what happens, constantly take action and turn it to positive growth opportunities, and have faith to believe that it will all work out in the end while you are waiting. And I think the key here for me with this video is patience is to be calm no matter what happens. So no matter what happens, approach it with a calm demeanor. It doesn't mean don't take action. It says, the very next thing here is constantly take action, turn it to positive growth opportunities. So try to find the positive in it. Try to find, all right, well, I didn't want this thing to happen, and normally I would be stressed about it, but I'm not going to stress. I'm going to approach this with a calm demeanor. How can I turn this into a positive? How can I turn this, look at it from a different angle, or how can I use this to my advantage? And if you can't, there will be things, right? Like, hey, can't really get a whole lot of positive out of this situation. All right, well then stay calm, because whatever it is, it will pass. We've all had these things, like I've had plenty of situations in my life where I thought this is terrible, everything I'm going through, right? Or I'm going through this one thing and it's awful, and I can't turn this into a positive, or I couldn't, at least maybe at the time. Stay calm, because whatever it is, it will pass eventually. Daniel Achinsky has a great quote here. Only in the storm can you see the art of the real sailor. Only on the battlefield can you see the bravery of a soldier. The courage of a simple person can be seen in how he copes with the difficult and dangerous situations in life. And so, to me, what he's really saying here is that only through adversity do we really see our strengths, right? If you're never challenged, if you're always in your comfort zone, you're never challenged, you never have to do anything hard or have a hard conversation or never face adversity, you're not going to grow. You're just going to be the same person your whole life. You need the storm, to see the art of the sailor, or the battlefield to see the bravery of a soldier. You have to face adversity. That's how you grow. That's how you find out who you are. That's how you realize, hey, I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. I could face that. Or a lot of times you'll look back. You'll be stressed about something, or you're going through something terrible, and you'll look back at it and realize, hey, I made it through. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't great. I didn't enjoy it, but I'm still here, and I'm stronger than I thought I was. And if you stay calm through that, I think it just makes that experience much better. J.B. Phillips here. It's refreshing and salutary. J.B. Phillips here. It is refreshing and salutary to study the poise and quietness of Christ. His task and responsibility might well have driven a man out of his mind, but he was never in a hurry, never impressed by numbers, never a slave of the clock. And it's that calmness, right? No matter what's going on, no matter what is coming. And I've seen plenty of leaders, and you can almost put a line down, good leaders and bad leaders, and the bad ones are the ones who, the second something happens, they're panicked, and they're stressed, and we've talked about how that translates to other people. And so if the leader is stressed, and if the leader is constantly overreacting to a situation, then their people are going to do the same thing. But you have these leaders who can stay calm and analyze that situation and approach it logically, and take their emotion out of it, and present themselves as like, all right, we can handle this. It's that calm confidence, right? That's what you want to project. Calm confidence no matter what the situation. Good situation, calm confidence. Stressful, crazy situation, calm confidence. And I think that really highlights it there. Viktor Frankl, excellent book, Man's Search for Meaning. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. And then that quote pretty much speaks for itself, right? Is that everything can be taken. And his story was he was in I don't remember which one, but he was in a Nazi concentration camp. And then in that situation, they did take everything from you. You know, your pride, I mean, they really took everything. All your possessions, you know, your family, you had nothing. But to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. And in that book, he lays out, you know, how different people had different attitudes and how it affected them throughout their time at the concentration camp. And I think kind of what you get as you read through that is, you know, the people who were calmer and the people who approached it from a calm, confident, we can get through this type of attitude. They did better, right? They were happier, as happy as you could be in a situation like that. And there were people who approached it from a negative demeanor, and those people did not do well. His book is about, you know, man's search for meaning. But I think as you read it, I think you would find this as well, is that projecting this this calm confidence and maintaining control of yourself throughout a situation is advocated in there as well. Seneca, another good Stoic here, is we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And that goes back to that, hey, you know, something looming in the future, and we draw up all these different things that could happen, and we think about how we're going to handle it, and what if they do this and we do that, and we're more frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than reality. I mean, that's exactly right. You need to be calm, you need to be confident. Don't panic. You don't need to do all those situations in your mind. And when you're in the middle of a crisis, something you can't control, something that happened, and that's when this really, you know, when the rubber meets the road. It's easy to be kind of calm and confident when things are going right. When you hit that situation where you're in the midst of it, stop. Stop for a second. Take a deep breath, control yourself, and think, all right, we'll get through this. I'll be able to manage it. Here we go. And then start approaching it. You know, then start taking action. I think you'll find that, you know, 2-3 seconds of taking a deep breath, calming yourself down, it can really make the difference in how you approach something in the long term. And this is my favorite quote. It's our last quote for this topic here. Epictetus, who's you know, we have a lot of quotes from him. Every difficulty in life presents us with an opportunity to turn inward and to invoke our own inner resources. The trails we endure could and should introduce us to our strengths. Prudent people look beyond the incident itself and seek to form the habit of putting it to good use. On the occasion of an accidental event, don't just react in a haphazard fashion. Remember to turn inward and ask what resources you have for dealing with it. Dig deeply. You possess strengths you might not realize you have. Find the right one. Use it. And so, when you find yourself in the midst of a situation, a stressful situation, if it's a long-term thing or an emergent thing that just happened, and you know, maybe shorter term, take a second, breathe, look inward, take a deep breath, calm down, project that quiet confidence, find those strengths, use them, and I think you'll find that this will serve you really well as you move forward. As with everything else we talk about, this is not something that just happens. There are very few people who are naturally good at this. It's something you have to work at. This is something you have to think about and something you have to try to put into practice. And you can do that. So, you know, in the coming couple days, after you watch this video, try to think of that. Try to think of that as you move forward in a school situation or a work situation, maybe a family thing. Try to see if you can do that, see how well it works for you. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, like most of the things that we talk about. So I encourage you to do that. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel as much as we can, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.